Alright, the time is here. We have waited a very long time for this movie, and I, of course, am talking about The Flash. I got an early screening of it. Was it worth the wait? Was it one of the best comic book movies of all time? I'm going to tell you my thoughts on it right now. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody out there is doing well. My name is Tyson. We are here to talk about movies. That's right, we do movie reviews, movie trailer reactions, and we cover major movie news. We do all of that here on the channel, so if that's something you're interested in, please give us a look and check us out, subscribe, do all of it. And we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and I would love to have you guys along for that journey. But right now, we are here to talk about The Flash. And it is a very, very entertaining, fun film, by far. It's one of the best summer blockbusters, I would say. You have that feeling of popcorn, of just having a great experience in the theater with the people around you. So it's definitely great on that aspect. Was it worth the wait? Was it one of the best comic book movies of all time? I would say it's worth the wait, but it's not one of the best comic book movies of all time. That was thrown around a lot by early people who saw it back in like April or even before then. James Gunn came out and say that. It's a good film, but it's not one of the best out there. But you are definitely going to have a fun time in the theater with this one, for sure. The story, we all know it, but I'll kind of say it anyway. Barry Allen wants to see if he can go back in time to save his mother, to see if he can get her to be living in his world, trying to see if that will also free his father from the prison time he is serving for being on trial for killing his mom. So hopefully that can work out for him. But of course, that goes astray and gives us one of the best parts of this movie, my favorite part of this movie, and that is Michael Keaton coming back as Batman. By far, the best part of the movie. You can tell he's having an absolute blast returning to this role. He's just having so much fun on screen, and that makes his performance 100 times better. Yeah, he was my favorite part of the movie. He was funny. Very comedic entrance for him, I would say. Not at all what I was expecting, but he gets a lot of action to do in this movie, which I absolutely loved. I feel like it's a lot more action than we actually saw in his original movies, but he just did a phenomenal job by far. So, absolutely great with Michael Keaton there. Again, favorite part of the movie, and I would say that's the main reason to go out and see it. Now, with the Batman stuff out of the way, there obviously is controversy in this film. Ezra Miller, as many of you know, has done some pretty terrible things, and I think they should be held accountable for their actions, which definitely means no more being the Flash. You're done. You cannot come back to this role. I don't think you should be acting anymore, frankly, based on the actions that they have committed. But I hope they get the help that they need, definitely. But you should not be coming back to this universe nor to this industry ever again. But I will say, in here, Barry Allen is portrayed very well. There are actually two of him. That's hard to do. I think it is done really well here. And a huge character trait I found, he's annoying in the movie, for sure. Not all the way through, but for the most part. For me, at least. But I do think that is a character trait just for the character, so I don't really hate on that too much. But there is also so much emotion in this film based around the heart of it, which is the mother and the loss of her. And you can really tell just how hurt Barry Allen is still about that, because it also is now making his father in jail, and has for a long time. So he basically has no parents in the film. That's really hard to do, but that emotion is carried very, very well throughout this movie, and it is definitely the heart of the film. Ben Affleck, he's back, not for very long. He's in it probably for about like 5 minutes, like he said, but I liked all the parts that he was in. He is one of the best Batman in my opinion, and I wish we were getting more of him. Unfortunately, we're not, but hey, for the last time that we saw him, which was, I think, in this movie, he did a great job, by far. And I love any time I can see Ben Affleck on screen in any movie. But he definitely has a great one-on-one scene with Barry, where there's a great emotional conversation. And I think that's played out beautifully by the two actors. So, great job on that one. Now, let's move on to Supergirl. She's in here. She does a fantastic job. I love the introduction of Supergirl. One of my favorite parts, actually, and I'm glad she did not get pushed to the side. I think she got a fair amount of time in here, and I think it was well deserved. And I hope the actress who plays her comes back. I forget the name, and is able to play her in future roles, because I think she carried this specific role so well and really got who Supergirl is. So hopefully we see her soon. I will say John Wilzada is in here as Michael Shannon. He's good. He's good. Not much to say really, because he's not in the film like a whole lot. But I'm glad we got that callback to Man of Steel, and we got to see what would happen if he came back and there was no Superman. There's a Supergirl, but there's no Clark Kent. So that was interesting to kind of see how Supergirl played into his story arc. So I really liked that. And I will say now, let's get into some of the negatives of the film. I think it is way too long. I think they could have cut at least 20 minutes from this movie to make it right at the 2-hour mark. It does drag on for me, especially some of the fight scenes, just because the CGI is not there. The CGI in this movie is good, but yet also very bad at some parts, especially around one specific fight scene. I can't get into it, but you see the fight scene in the trailer. It's just not done that well. They're in like this desert, and it's just how that whole CGI is handled with the Flash, Batman, the Kryptonians who are in there, not that great. So that definitely was a huge drawback for me for the film, because it took me out of it so much. And one last person I want to mention is the director, Andy Muschietti. I think he did a fantastic job here. He really did. He brought this whole movie together. He worked so hard on it. So did all of the crew members as well. You see that credits list at the end of all these movies. They're super long, but for superhero movies, I feel like they're even longer. It takes a village to make these movies possible. So I really appreciate all the work Andy Muschietti did, as well as the crew, because it definitely shows in this film. Now, with all that being said and out of the way, I want to get into the score of the film and overall thoughts here. It didn't really grasp me like I thought it would. I didn't walk out of the movie loving it. I thought it was a good time. It was a good movie. I think I'm going to be a little bit in the minority here when I give my ranking, or my score. Granted, if I see it again, it could go up. But this is just from my experience. I really love all the Michael Keaton parts. There are a lot of surprises in here that are fantastic for sure, and the cameos that make an appearance are amazing. But the overall movie didn't quite do it for me as much as I wanted it to. So I'm going to give The Flash a 6.5 out of 10. Like I said, I know I'm going to be in the minority with that, but that's just how I feel. It didn't really do it for me. I kind of was bored a little bit because of how long it was. I wanted it to be cut tighter. It just wasn't done. The CGI wasn't there. The story is good, but not great. There are great emotional parts of the story that I really like, but the story as a whole didn't quite do it for me. And they just didn't quite sell me on everything. So that is why I give it a 6.5 out of 10, but still a good and enjoyable movie and theater experience. So, with that being said and all out of the way, guys, that will do it for me on this video. Let me know down below, what are your thoughts on this movie? Are you excited to see it? Are you going to see it opening weekend? Or because of the controversy, are you just not going to see it at all? Or are you just not excited for it and think superhero movies should be taking a break? Let me know your thoughts down below, and until the next one, guys, see you guys next time.